Shatabhishak Nakshatra, the nakshatra of 100 physicians. Shatabhishak is a nakshatra which is a lot about freedom, movement, searching, but above all, it is about healing. It's also a lot about material success, or at least prosperity, spirituality, research. Ruled by Varun, who is one of the 12 Adityas. Varun rules the sky at the night time. When there is no sun, there still exists the energy of the Aditya. It's just in the background. That is what Lord Varun, the Vedic god of the treasures of the sea and water, represents. And so Lord Varun ruling this nakshatra gives it a lot of material abundance. And Rahu is the planetary ruler of this nakshatra, which gives this nakshatra a sort of free, explorative kind of mindset. The symbol for Shatabhishak nakshatra is a circle. Now, there are many ways to look at this circle. This could be the circle of life. This could even be the universe enclosing everything within it. This could even be the void. And so how do you express the void? Through a circle. So Shatabhishak nakshatra, whenever it's prominent in your chart or whenever it's prominent in the sky, this is a time for a lot of movement, a lot of exploration. Individuals who have this nakshatra prominent are very likely to be individuals with a very curious sort of mindset. There is a search for spirituality which is always prominent in their nature. And there is also a lot of relation that this nakshatra has with space, stars. Okay, that's what the void is, the void of this entire universe. The universe is constantly expanding. And so you only see as much of the universe as far you can see, okay, this much universe exists. But the further you can see, the further you can say, okay, this much more universe exists. So you're only able to measure and only able to calculate, only able to understand as much of the universe as you are powerful enough to see. And so there is this spiritual duality to this nakshatra, that on the one hand, people with this nakshatra can be healers, people in this, have this nakshatra prominent can be astronomers, but they can also be astrologers. They can also be psychologists. They can also be, astrophysicists. They can also be, nuclear researchers, because there is a lot of expansive movement-oriented energy coupled with the twin influences of these material sort of deities, Rahu and Lord Varun, which leads these individuals quite often to go beyond what their family, what their society, the community has been able to achieve in terms of material success. Now, ruled by the direction west. West is the direction, if you guys have been studying astrology, or if you have any sort of, if you've read the BPHS, etc. West is the direction which is ruled by Saturn. West direction stands for innovation, but it also stands for contracts. It stands for relationships. Shatabhishak individuals can quite often have a lot of relationships. They can quite often have a lot of, they can be prominent in a lot of networks. But even then, there is a certain level of aloofness that comes with this energy. If you look at the Shakti of this nakshatra, which is Bhishaja Shakti, or the power to heal, you will see that these individuals quite often without a conscious choosing, find themselves to be playing an active part in a lot of different network circles. A lot of people may seem to want their time and energy, while the Shatabishak individual may just crave for some time by themselves, thinking, pondering, exploring the mysteries of the universe. Okay, so Shatabishak Nakshatra people actually do pretty well with Ashwini Nakshatra people. Ashwini Nakshatra deals with the energy of the male horse, and Shatabishak Nakshatra deals with the energy of the female horse. Both of these are pretty maverick sort of energies. Ashwini Nakshatra is more sort of an active healing. If you read the story about the Ashwin Kamars, or if you go back and look at the video that I made on Ashwini Nakshatra, that's more of a consciously explorative energy, a consciously disruptive energy of healing, of doing your own thing. But Shatabishak tends to be a more subconscious energy, a more unconscious energy, where these individuals find themselves as part of their karma to often be in situations where they have to bring about a lot of healing. You will see that Shatabishak Nakshatra individuals quite often have a lot of karma to provide healing to a lot of people that they may not be directly associated with, that in fact they may not actively want to provide healing to. But people who are drawn to them, people that as a result of previous karma, they have to provide healing to, or people as a result of societal karma or the balance of relationships, they have to provide healing to. It's very interesting. If you look at Ashwini Nakshatra, then Ashwini is a nakshatra which is associated with active healing. If you go back and watch my video on Ashwini Nakshatra, or if you read about the Ashwin Kumars, the ruling deity of Ashwini Nakshatra, you will see that is a very independent maverick energy, which is a lot about providing healing just because I can, disrupting patterns just because I can. Okay, Shatabishak is more of a passive energy. So these individuals can often find themselves in delicate social situations where people turn to them to settle disputes, or family situations where they quite often are relied upon to maintain balance. These could be, quite often I've seen Shatabishak individuals as doctors. Even if you are not a doctor per se, like a practicing doctor, you will be a counselor, you will be a guide to your network circle, to your support group, to your family, to your extended family, to your neighbors, to your community. Okay? And people are drawn to Shatabishak individuals because pretty similar to Ashwini Nakshatra, one power that these individuals do have is the power to move fast. And quite often, these individuals, as a coping mechanism, can take up some kind of sport or can take up some kind of habit that allows them a lot of movement. Okay, so these can be individuals who, let's say, have a passion for aviation, or have a passion for cars, or fast vehicles like bikes, things of that sort. They may even have a passion for things like skiing. Okay, because movement sort of gives these individuals the much needed clarity and the much needed exercise of will on their energy. So Shatabishak individuals quite often will be in situations where they are relied upon for a lot of healing and balance, and what they are needing to do the most is find time to do the things that can provide them the healing that they need. Quite often these individuals, even if they're good at academics, quite often they are, because there's a lot of research oriented inclination with this energy. But even then, these individuals quite often don't like to sit down at one place and read and study. I mean, if you are going to make them study, if you're going to make them read, if you're going to make them do anything that provides healing in any way, there has to be some sort of mental stimulation. That process, be it medical science, be it astrology, be it astronomy, whatever it is, that process needs to answer some of the queries that they have about the universe, for it to be fruitful, for them to not be drained in the process of practicing whatever craft there is. So if you have Shatabishak prominent in your chart, one of the things that you should do is you should hang a 7 horses wallpaper, preferably of a bluish color, in the eastern portion of your home. And the reason that I'm saying the eastern portion is because that is where the horses are the most prominent, because they coincide with the natural direction of the sun, and the sun is set to move in a chariot pulled by 7 horses. So ideally one would think that, why are you asking us to put this poster or this photograph in the eastern portion? Shouldn't we put it in the western portion? Yes, the western direction is what is associated with this nakshatra, but above all, beneath all of those layers, the energy of the horse per se, in connecting with this spiritual animal, it needs to be put in the right place. Okay, you can also just put a nice painting of a horse or a statue, whatever rocks your boat, in your home, any place that you spend the most time. Not your bedroom, because horses are high in energy, so they are not best placed in the bedroom. It's going to interfere with your sleep and such. Okay, so that's number one. Second thing, that if you have Shatabishak nakshatra prominent in your chart, in the sense that if you have your ascendant, or if you have your moon, or if you have a bunch of planets in this nakshatra, and life is sort of tough for you, definitely, no matter what your profession, start learning something that has something to do with healing. And you don't need to practice it for other people. You just need to learn it enough so that you can do it for yourself. This could be anything from Reiki to Ayurveda to herbs to acupuncture to yoga, to NLP to Astro life coaching to astrology, anything. Okay. Third thing that you need to do, if you have this nakshatra prominent and things are not really working out for you, is you need to have a spiritual discipline. There needs to be some kind of spiritual discipline that you're following. Now, this can have to do with a routine where you're taking regular spiritual retreats, or practicing some kind of sadhana, or practicing some kind of kriya yoga, or reading some kind of scriptures. Okay, something of some sort that provides answers to you about the basic, the deepest functioning of the universe and the order of the universe. And you have to devote at least 45 minutes every day to reading, practicing, studying such arts, such sciences. Another thing that can really help you is picking up some kind of a hobby that allows you a lot of movement. It could be anything from, running, squash, tennis, riding bikes, anything of that sort. Anything that allows you a lot of movement. If you have a passion for aviation, go take flying lessons. If you can go skiing, please do that. And if you can do skateboarding and you enjoy that, do that. Whatever it is, you need at least 40-45 minutes of structured time as part of your schedule, where you are pushing yourself out of your comfort zone and just allowing yourself to run free. Last but not the least, what I'm going to suggest, if you have Shatabishak nakshatra prominent in your chart and you have a lot of problems in your life, you have to learn when to say no to people. You have to learn that when you develop your personal power, that is the answer to a lot of questions that people have around you. You show up better for people closest to you, people that you care about, when you are cultivating your personal power. You should be able to say no when you want to say no. Quite often, it's not possible if you're living in a family. 8 out of 10 times you're not going to be able to, say no when you want to say no. But at least a thin majority, at least 60% of the time, unless something absolutely calls for your attention, you have to learn to say no when you want to say no. You have to learn to protect your energy. Okay? And when you start doing that, you're actually going to realize that part of the karma of healing that is associated with these individuals comes from them having to make people dependent on them independent enough so that they do not, so that, you know, the Shatabishak individual does not constantly have to show up in service to these individuals. Now, how do you interpret the energy of this nakshatra depending on the placement of planets in this nakshatra? As usual, I'm just going to share 2 or 3 placements to give you clues on how to understand and interpret it with respect to planetary placements. Then you have to apply the same logic to, you know, do all of the good work. Let's say you have Rahu placed in the nakshatra of Shatabishak. Rahu placed in the nakshatra of Shatabishak is actually not bad at all, because Rahu is placed in his own nakshatra. And Rahu is placed in a nakshatra that carries with it a lot of movement, a lot of, progress, a lot of material accomplishments, a lot of prosperity, and a lot of healing. The flip side here, you know, as with any Rahu placement, is that a lot of this healing will need to be done in your personal life. Because if you have the north node in the nakshatra of Shatabishak or the nakshatra of Ashwini, any nakshatra which is dominant on the aspects of healing, your soul in this lifetime has one of the major agendas of healing itself, of learning about healing. How do you learn about healing? When you are in situations that you need to heal. Now, let's say you have Sun in the nakshatra of Shatabishak. Sun in the nakshatra of Shatabishak is going to say that you are most confident. You are most in charge of your energies when you are providing healing, when you are providing guidance, when you are moving, when you are exploring. The process of healing, the process of research, the process of movement. And this could be healing family patterns. This could be healing, karmic patterns or family curses. That may well be the case. That, let's say, nobody in your family was able to graduate college. Hardworking people, none of them were able to do so. You come along, you're the first one to actually, graduate with honors. That is also a form of healing of your family lineage and patterns. So when you have Sun there, this is something that you're going to know, deep within in a way that I know I have to do this. I know I have to be a healer. I know I have to heal through these patterns. I know I have to learn to work with these individuals that I have to provide healing to, even if I may not want it. I know because it gives me confidence. It makes me feel strong. It makes me feel more masculine. It makes me feel that I have more control over my life. Okay. Now, let's say you have Mars in the nakshatra of Shatabishak. Mars in the nakshatra of Shatabishak can, quite often show individuals who work in the medical field, or these could be individuals who could be in the field of acupuncture or, acupressure. The reason that I'm picking hands-on, professions in the case of Mars and Shatabishak is Mars is in itself full of yang energy. And Shatabishak, even though the animal associated with this nakshatra is the female horse, it still has a lot of yang energy compared to all other animals, all other nakshatras. So you put Mars there. If you have other placements that really support you, that allow you to be patient and sit at one place and study, and because medical science, any degree is made up of a lot of different subjects that you may not enjoy studying. Okay, as long as something's interesting, Shatabishak people are going to run with it. But the moment that you lose interest, they're not going to be able to push themselves to do the things that they need to do. So let's say you have Mars here. You can be great at hands-on forms of healing. You could be a great physiotherapist. You could even be a great sports psychologist or sports therapist. Okay, you can be all of these things. But yes, obviously, you can also, given the placement of other planets and where your Rahu is, because Rahu rules this nakshatra, be very well, be a great entrepreneur. But whenever you see Mars placed in nakshatras, always look at what kind of energy that nakshatra is carrying. Is it predominantly yang or is it predominantly yin? So Mars with Shatabishak is actually a great combination. Okay. This can give a very free-spirited sort of individual. Okay. But The flip side of this placement is going to be that these individuals are going to quite often find it hard to settle down into a particular locality, community, relationships, occupation. They think that we can do it, so why don't we do this, why don't we do that, and they'll be able to do a lot of these things. But yes, settling down could be one of the problems here. Okay, and let's say you have Venus in the nakshatra of Shatabishak. Venus in the nakshatra of Shatabishak can definitely show that there's going to be a lot of healing that needs to be brought about in your relationships. It is through your relationships as well that you'll be able to accomplish a lot. Break through family curses, overcome karmic patterns. You'll be able to do a lot of those things. But Venus in Shatabishak, it has that unconscious energy of having to heal as part of being in relationships, not just your love relationship, not just your marriage, but in relationships in general. But after the age of 42, when Rahu matures, most of the placements in Shatabishak nakshatra, they even out, they become easier to deal with. And in general, for all individuals, after the age of 42, a lot of the trials that you have associated with your life, associated with your placements, the biggest problems that you guys probably have right now, unless you are in Rahu Madasha, after the age of 42, this usually gets much better. Okay, so this is a very short analysis that I have on the nakshatra of Shatabhishak. Guys, if you want to learn astrology the way that I practice it, by combining it with life coaching the way that I have delivered 5,000 plus hours, in the last few years, 7 years that I have been a life coach, how I have served 1,000 plus clients, around the globe. If you want to learn Vedic astrology my way, Astro life coaching, then the link is given here in the description box. You can apply for a seat in the course. The last day for application is October 1st, but we're going to probably close admissions before that. That's because I have restricted the intake so that I can work with a close-knit group of individuals who want to practice, who want to coach, and who want to apply this knowledge to heal and guide others. And if you want to learn it for yourself, sure. I mean, the finalization of the allotment of seats is going to take place through an interview, unless I think that you automatically qualify for it, which can happen in cases such as I just had a session with you when we spoke about it during the session, and I thought that you could be a great fit. But besides that, every other person is going to have to book a short discovery call with me, 15 minutes. We'll have a conversation. That is just to ascertain if we are the right fit for this course. Okay, so I hope to see a lot of you who follow my content ardently in the course. It would be a pleasure to interact. It would be a pleasure to teach, and it would be a pleasure to develop this branch of Astro life coaching so that we can bring out the best of this science to the world and provide healing to a lot of individuals who actually need it, who actually have not found a lot of their answers, at least satisfactorily, in the practice of Vedic astrology as a purely predictive science. Because I keep saying it, and this might irk some individuals. Well, if it does, it does. But Vedic astrology is not just a predictive science. Vedic astrology is a way to understand Jyotish. It's a way to understand your karma. It's a way to light the Jyoti of self-awareness within. And when you combine that with the principles of life coaching, when you combine that with performance coaching, with NLP, you actually have a very powerful behavioral science that you can apply to solve problems, that you can apply to help people make better sense of their life path, of their journey, of their strengths, of their weaknesses. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing as part of this course. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel so that you can stay abreast of all the wonderful content that I post here. Push the bell icon so that you can be notified every single time I post. Thank you so much. Take care. Hari Om.